All right, welcome back to 0.5%. This is episode 13, part 2. So we just took a look at FinViz's um, heat map to see what sectors were up at the end of the day, what sectors were down. I had mentioned at the beginning of the day, everything was up significantly. I'll just run back to the home map real quick. You can see the Dow was up from its previous close, but it closed lower. So did the Nasdaq. So did the S&P. So did the Russell, which I'm not sure why it's not showing here. Probably because I got it split screen. But what I wanted to do now was go to the news and see what news events triggered maybe significant movements in the market. So what I have open here on the left is the Spider S&P 500 ETF. There seemed to be this giant jump in the morning, a boost around 11:30, a boost around 1:30, and then a boost at the end of the day. But I don't know if this was just the market breathing from coming up so much, or if there were news influence. I did see one towards the end of the day that caught my eye and made me want to do this additional part of the episode to just reviewing my trades. So I'm going to come down. Let's go to the beginning of the day and see just how it changed. So I'm not going to read all of these. Some of them are interesting maybe, but not relevant to a whole market swing. For example, at 9:26, the first thing that pops up is an American whiskey distillers brace for Trump's second trade war. But let's keep going. So we've got United Healthcare and Nvidia set a brisk pace as all 30 Dow stocks advance. So that's at 9:55. Where is that on here? 9:30, 9:45. 10 o'clock. So between these, I feel like that's significant news and a positive news. And we did see a boost there. Nvidia and maybe not United Health, but Nvidia I think more so affects Invesco's QQQ. I bet it's a larger holding or a larger part of the holding. So from the date, what time was that? 9:55. 9:45, and there was a pretty good jump there. Let's keep scrolling up. Wall Street burst of anger over tariff stupidity. This is almost at 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, we saw it kind of pause. The same thing on the Spider. Yep, 10 o'clock, it kind of paused. The stock market in chaos at 10:02. It's about the same. Let's go up to 10:30. Or anything interesting in here? India stock regulators see no, blah, blah, blah. Post office, 8 charts. What tariffs are doing to North American freight. Let's see, when was this boost? This boost was at 11:30. So Trump's tariffs are already reducing car imports and idling factories. That sounds like bad news to me. But the market went up on the Spider and on Nasdaq. So I believe this movement here is just the market breathing. It's catching up to its moving average. Is it going to support it? Is it going to turn into resistance? And I think this news in combination of what we see here just concludes it turned into resistance. Trump's tariffs will lead to world prosperity. That's kind of neutral. That's also at 11:30. Trump said he had a great call with South Korea. That's good news in my opinion. So maybe there's the boost there. It opened here. And the Trump tariffs will lead to prosperity news came out later than the other ones. So it did go up during 11:30. Let's see what the following ones say. So, get a great call. Calls out politicians for not enduring pain for longer economic payoffs. This kind of all sounds positive. What was this one? Levi says price hikes related to tariffs will be searchable. That sounds better than surgery at home. I don't know. 1134, oil executives refrain from criticizing. Seems like good news here. So there's a little bit of bounce, but that might just, again, have to do with the breathing of coming back down from this massive jump. We said, all gaps must be filled. So it could have kept going up there, but I feel like there was something else that comes out. So let's see, what's this next candlestick? 1145. Junk bonds, how Trump's policy risk is showing in Treasury bonds. Then we get to 12. Musk labels Trump trade advisor moron over Tesla comments. I don't know why Musk is so influencing the market, but just got to play to it. These 21 stocks, retailer. All right, so I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to see if I can find the news that kind of made me want to do this. I feel like if I go through this, we're already 6 minutes in. Let's see what I can find. When was this movement? 130. So Philip Green loses case over naming in Parliament. How can China hurt the U.S.? 73% of Americans expect price surge. That's not good. Right at 130. But also, I don't know, what is this, Eastern time? What time is all this? I do not know. So these might be slightly delayed, actually. Alright, well, let me see if I can find the news that caught my eye. I believe it was around 3:30, maybe 4:30. Stocks hit by wild volatility. Dow tumbles more than 300 points. This is at 4. That's the end of the day, Yeah. Alright, so let me scroll back down. I saw some news out here that it was like, and I think it was by this what is that, Wall Street? This is the news that I saw. So at 2:13, NASDAQ S&P 500 turns negative as stock market loses grip on massive gains. That was at 2:13. I think that's this big candlestick here. I think this is my time, and I think this is Eastern time. I'm in Texas. This massive drop, I believe, was caused by that. If we come into the 2-minute, there was one in here that was just heavy. Let me go to 1 minute maybe. Or I was looking at a nugget and gold, and it was particularly heavy for those. I was, that's kind of what drove me to see how did it affect the whole market. So at 2:13, it's got to be like what, right here? Nope. I think it's got to be 3:13. So let's find 3:15. Alright, so yeah, right there. And sure enough, that was a low right there at 3:15. Here. In this area, that was a low. And it tried to recover there for a second, but it just kept going. So that's Invesco. Let's go look at Spider. And what stick was that? 1 minute. Let's check out the 1 minute over here. Zoom out. Where did the day start? So yeah, everything started up, and then not only did it come back down to close that gap that it jumped in the morning, it went lower. And this is going to tie in perfectly to my next video, so I think I'll end part 2 pretty briefly. But I had bought into Nugget and Dust multiple times the previous day, and got caught up getting into Dust, the inverse bearish ETF of Nugget, and woke up this morning to a massive potential loss because of that jump up in the morning, and I was on the inverse portfolio. Without knowing what was going to happen for the day, I waited for a little bit and recovered some of the immediate loss, but I didn't hold for the entire day. And if I would have not only recovered all of it, I would have made something. But there was no way to know that then. The market is in a massive dip. When it comes to inverse ETFs, they go to zero. So we'll talk about that more in the next part. It's going to be an exciting video for myself to review, because I think there's going to be a lot of lessons for myself to learn. But there was some good trades throughout the day as well. With the inverse and the market dropping, there was multiple opportunities for me to buy in and make money. And there's a broader general lesson that I'm starting to see that will be fun to discuss. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 3.